What's up, movie fans, and welcome to my little movie vlog or something else where, with Filmstruck, I get a lot of movies I've never even heard of. And I know all these people, you hear all these people tell about, I'm going to film school, I'm going to go and learn about films. Well, shit, son, look at us. Filmstruck and Criterion have fucking everything. Now, me, I know a lot about the contemporary films, but I don't know about the history of films. My knowledge from any film past the year 1988 when I was born, basically, I know nothing. Not even with those films in the 80s. Really, in the 90s, that's when it all started. But now, with Filmstruck and Criterion, I just want to do a little daily vlogs, or it'll be every other day, where I go and I look at different films, I talk about them, and just getting more history in films, or more history with films, and getting to understand it, see where it has been and where it is now, and some of the greats, because like, okay, before Filmstruck, I had never watched a Stanley Kubrick film. I know, I go and I talk about films on YouTube, and just saying that I have never watched a Stanley Kubrick film until Filmstruck, and it was really cool. So, not watching any Stanley Kubrick movies, and then going and watching his very first 4 films is absolutely really awesome, because like you see his progression as a director, and it was just like really mind-blowing. So, now I'm going to look at Rodger Corman. I actually may do another one on Stanley Kubrick in the first 4 films and all my thoughts on him. But for right now, my very first one with, I'll come up with a name shortly, but I'm looking at maybe someone like Film School with Filmstruck, because I really like this. Like, this Filmstruck is, I feel, so much superior to Netflix just because of the different movies. Like, I'm going in and I'm just seeing all these new stuff. I'm like, oh my god, I feel like a kid in a candy store right now. So as you can see, I'm on the front page with Rodger Corman, and I'm going to look at his films. Now, the reason why I picked him is because I'm hearing about a film called Death Race 2000, and I think they remade the film back in the early 2000s, and I want to watch the original. Like, I just saw that picture, I was like, oh my god, okay, but I'll go and watch in chronicle order, well, basically the films that they're given here. So I'll go from his earliest film to his later film, The Tin Drum. Who knows what that's about, but I'm, as you can tell, I'm really excited. I mean, I literally have my bottle of whiskey ready, and I'm just gonna watch the movies, drink a little bit, and then come back and report on what I thought about The Intruder. Ooh, I never knew William Shatner's in there. So this will be the very first time I'm seeing William Shatner outside of the commercials that he does for, I forget which company, but this will be the first time I'm seeing him out of a Star Trek film. So wish me luck. And so let's just get into it. I'm really excited. Alright, people. I'll see you back when the movie's over. What a freaking film! Rodger Corman. I have never watched any of your films. I've heard your name. But shit. Man. Now, The Intruder. Holy shit. William Shatner. I have never seen him better. Now, that's not saying much. He's charismatic as hell. And I love when he first comes into this film. And you just see this bus coming up into this little town. It stops. William Shatner gets out. He's helping a little girl down, helping the mother down the steps. And I was like, shit, there's William Shatner. He's as suave as ever. And dang, what a cruel motherfucker he is in this film. Like, the moment where you see him, he's gotten to his hotel room, and he has a gun. And first I was like, shit, William Shatner, what are you doing with the freaking gun? And he puts it to the window and goes bang, bang. I was like, really? Is this going to be like some Taxi Driver type of shit? Because, fuck. I was not expecting that turn because at that point, William Shatner looked like he was the hero of the film. And he's asking the people of the town, so what do you think about the segregation that's happening? And how these black kids are coming into schools. And he never really gave a sleight of hand of what he wanted. But good Lord! To all those people out there that are so naive and they say, oh, black and white films, they're no good. They're old. They got nothing to say. This film does. This film has a lot to say. Shit, as I was drinking my whiskey, I'm just like, as the film got darker and darker, and I just started sipping, and I was so engrossed. And to see this town where William Shatner comes in, and he's like, hey, the moment that you let these black kids go into the school, and you didn't do anything about it, you're to blame. You're saying that's okay by you not stopping to do what you're supposed to do. Is stop these kids from going to school. And the mob mentality of everything he's saying almost reminds me of Donald Trump. And just him getting this mob together and him losing control of what he wants. Where the mob, this group of people, start to do things their way. They go and bomb a church. They literally take some TNT, throw it into a church, blow it up. And this is before they went and they put, the KKK went and put the burning cross right next to their church. And they literally, he puts these people, they throw a TNT into this church, killing the priest. And you see William Shatner losing control. I mean, come on! This film is, as I read, Rodger Corman's only film that's ever lost money in the box office. That should have never happened. No. That should never have happened. What an amazing film. Literally, I had no idea where this film was going. And that's a great thing about going into the history of film and just seeing all these films I'd never even heard of. And when you think of a person like William Shatner, you're like, yeah, this is the guy that's only is known for his films or his TV series in Star Trek. This guy, I now want to go and watch some more films that he's been in outside the Star Trek films, and just seeing how he is compared to who he is as in the Star Trek films. I mean, like, he was so... I got so engrossed. I didn't see William Shatner at all. Now, there were a couple times where the William Shatner type of talking did come out, especially when the guy got angry, or he kind of had fear in his voice, and then sometimes the mannerisms of William Shatner did come out, but he did great. Like, really good. Like, I could not believe it. And to see a town that has such hatred for a group of people, it's sickening. And it reminds me of something that we have today with Americans hating Muslims. And it has so much to speak about it in this film. It's so... A film that's made in the 60s is still poignant today. And the balls that Rodger Corman had. Because just to think about in the 60s. This is not in the 70s where a lot of exploration into film and where films started to have, say, fuck you to the system, and it tells me there's more to it. There's more. If you go into the past, into these films, they're not all musicals like you kind of assume that they are. No, these are films that have something to say. And they're not afraid to say it. Like, I literally look at this guy. And when you first see him, you're like, oh, there's my grandpa. Him as a young man? Holy shit. Wow. And to see how William Shatner starts to dissolve as he got this mob together. It reminds me so much of everything that's going on today. And as I said, he kind of reminds me of like Trump, who is spouting off all this hatred and getting all these people riled up. And when the people start to do things on their own, all this hatred, what will Trump do? Like saying, oh my god, what did I open Pandora's box, and it's never going to close again. I didn't mean to get all political in there or anything like that, but that's what this film made me think. And it was interesting to see Rodger Corman. The dialogue in here is just so great. Like, really good. Holy shit. On a fucking film. Like, I'm just watching it, right? I got my whiskey, I'm just pouring. And just like, oh my god, then I felt like a little drunk, but I was like, oh my god, I'm so enthralled by what I'm seeing. And I did watch an interview, like a 20-minute interview of Rodger Corman talking about his, his life and him in films and everything. And him talking about how he did exploitation films and all this type of stuff. I really want to dive deep into this guy and just watch the movies and see what he has to say. Some things may be just trashy, just throwaway films, but The Intruder is definitely not. And if you like things like this and you're like, I don't get film like this on Netflix. I mean, I get the traditional today's films where if I want to watch something classic, it's always something from, the 70s, 80s, 90s, and now actually 2000s and 2010s. Good lord. There's nothing like this film blew me away. Like, there are some points in there where the old timers, the old hippies, or not hippies, the old rednecks, where they'll say a line and they'll, I'm an old grandpa. I was kind of like, okay, that's a little bit stereotypical and could have done a little bit better. But all in all, this film blew me away. Like, really. It really fucking blew me away. And like, I cannot wait to get more into this guy's films. And in my next episode, I'm ready to watch the next one and get all the way down to the Tin Drum. Like, I love this kid's look. I really am wondering, what the fuck is this film about? Because I'm not going to read anything about it. I'm just going to go in blind and hopefully have my socks blown off. Or knocked off. Whatever the way that saying goes. So, my name's David Lee. I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on The Intruder. And I'll see you guys later.